Also a kind request for Surah Al-Fatiha. Mullah Sajjad lost his brother in Nairobi and will be buried tonight after Majlis. Let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursalin. حبيبي إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد صلى الله عليك يا مولانا يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين صلى الله عليك يا ابن فاطمة المظلومة ما خاب من تمسك بكم وأمن من لجأ إليكم يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز والله فوزا عظيما. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في محكم كتابه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن آياته لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات For the love of Abba Abdullah al-Husayn, with the loudest of our voices, Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. For the love of Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, Ruhi wa arwahu al-alameen li turabi maqdamih al-fida, Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. For the love of Sayyida Khadija, the beloved wife of the Holy Prophet and the mother of believers, with the loudest of our voices, Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. First of all, we thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala once again for gracing us with this moment and this opportunity tonight, being the 9th night of the holy month of Ramadan. We ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala to accept our fast and humble efforts in this holy month of Ramadan and make it easy for us to witness the last days and nights of the holy month of Ramadan, inshaAllah. Tonight, as you all know, brothers and sisters, is the night which marks the birth anniversary, the death anniversary of the beloved wife of our beloved Prophet, Sayyida Khadija, Salamullahi alayha. First and foremost, my condolence goes to the Imam of our time, on this occasion. And secondly, our condolence goes to our great scholars, our maraji', those who try their level best every day and night to give service and khidmah to this beautiful school of thought of ours. And thirdly, condolence to each and every one of you, respected brothers and sisters, the lovers of the Holy Prophet and his Ahlul Bayt, on the departure of Bibi Khadija from this world. The verse I've just quoted from glorious Quran, brothers and sisters, is one of those verses that we often hear, especially when marriages are being officiated or contracted. It is from Quran 30, verse 21, where God Almighty mentioned about marriage being his sign. Now, departing from this verse, our topic of tonight will be woman between two choices. Choices of either to work or to look after the family. Our examination will be of the following stages. The first stage, we look at the standard and the criteria of marriage within the religion of Islam. What is it that Islam focus when it comes to marriage? What is it that Islam expect to see in our marriages, for our marriages to be regarded as an exemplary marriage? So that will be our first stage of the examination. Second stage of our examination, we will look at the importance of upbringing and the challenges of upbringing in this day and age, especially when you have a father who is a working father and a mother who is a working mother. What are the challenges and how do we upbring our children in this day and age? And then lastly, we will take some lessons from the life of Bibi Khadija alayha afdalu salati wa azka salam. Now the verse, as I mentioned, is a very clear verse and known verse. Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala in Quran 30 verse 21 is saying, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ. Where Allah would say, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, amongst his signs, meaning these signs are signs in such a way that if we take them and consider them and bring them to our lives, those signs should be able to lead us to the closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah said, one of my signs is that أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. He created for you or from you your spouses, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, so that you may dwell in them. Then he said, جَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Now question, this is my first examination, and I think it's a very, very important examination that those of us who are married and those of us who are aspiring to get married, it's so important to understand what is the criteria of an exemplary marriage within the religion of Islam. Because no doubt marriage is ibadah, but sometimes marriage may not be considered as ibadah. It all depends on how you live with your wife and you live with your husband. If you live together in accordance to the teachings of Islam, then it is regarded as ibadah. But if I do not do so, and I hide behind culture, or I hide behind my ego, or my selfish interest and desire, then that marriage will not be regarded as ibadah. So therefore the question is, what is the criteria of an exemplary marriage within the religion of Islam? Because no doubt, when we all get married, Our aim of getting married is to be successful in our marriages. You don't want to get married and you are told you are not successful in your marriage. Each and every one of us wants to be successful in his or her marriage. So I believe strongly understanding these criteria will help us to measure the extent to which our marriages are successful or not. There are two criteria that ulama highlight when it comes to life in general, including marriage. These two criteria, they call one atifi and other one wadifi, emotional, and other one based on responsibilities. So the question is the criteria of our marriage responsibilities within marriage, or no, it is an emotional criteria? Example, when you work for someone, somebody employs you, you sign a contract that I'm going to work for you and you are going to pay me. Here what happens? You have a right over the employer and the employer has right over you. You work so much, he gives you so much. So the criteria in this type of environment is not artificial, it's not emotional. It is just a criteria based on responsibilities. When I do or I play my role, I get the money. If I fail to play my role, I don't get the money. So there is no much of emotion and affection here. It's all about I'm working and you are paying me. The day you go bankrupt, I stay away from it because there is no money coming. But now look at the relationship between the mother and her son. When mother breastfeeds her child, she's not breastfeeding the child because it is just a responsibility. No ways. She's breastfeeding the child because she's emotionally attached with the child. It's way higher and beyond just a responsibility. When a mother places the child on her chest or breast, it is out of emotion and love. It is out of mercy. It's not just a responsibility like in the way you pay me, you don't pay me, I complain, I stop working, I demonstrate. There is no emotional attach there. It's just about money and nothing else. But mother, no. Irrespective of whatever difficulties that a mother will go through, she will still keep night vigil to breastfeed the child. Even if she has a headache and she's sick, she will ensure that she will deny herself sleeping so that the child is able to sleep at night. So here scholars said it's not just responsibility, but it's emotional attach that a mother has with her child. Same way when it comes to marriage in Islam, brothers and sisters. Islam says marriage is not just about responsibility. It is an emotional relationship. You have to be emotionally attached to your wife and vice versa. And when I talk of being emotionally attached, they said, "As-rahma insani." It is a blessing. So the marital relationship is not just responsibility, that I have responsibility over my husband and he has responsibility over me. And that is where it stops. Where do we get that from? I want you to pay attention. There are two reasons here. One reason from Quran and one reason from philosophy. The Quranic reason is the verse I quoted earlier on. Surah 30, verse 21. It's a known verse. When you examine this verse, I want brothers, inshallah, pay attention to this point. Allah is saying, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ. My point is min anfusikum. You know, if you want to express your love for someone, if you want to show someone you are completely emotional attached to him or her, you know, the best expression is what? You just tell the person, you are myself, I am yourself. Period. You don't have to add anything. If I want to show that I am emotionally attached to you, you are me and I am you, I see you in me, you see yourself in me, you just have to tell the person, you are myself. Example, the Holy Prophet of Islam said to Hussein, Husseinun minni wa ana. Is that the Hussein is myself and I am the self of Hussein? It's Ta'bir, scholars mention. It's a profound expression of love. Same way Rasulullah said to Amir al-Mu'minin, Aliyun minni wa ana min Ali. We have a riwayah like that. Ali is from me and I am from Ali. No, go to Mubahila. فَقُلْ تَعَالَوْا نَدْوَ أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ. They said, وَأَنفُسَنَا. Ourselves and yourselves. Yani ya Rasulullah is trying to say, I am Ali and Ali is Rasulullah. Same way in this chapter 30:21, married people and those who are aspiring to get married. From yourself, meaning your wife is yourself and you are herself. What does it mean? When I give my wife money or my wife reach out to me, Islam says, don't just consider it a responsibility, consider it as emotional attached, as a rahmah and the love placed by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if I consider just a responsibility, then I may say anything. I may throw bad words. I may mistreat the person anyhow. So therefore, if we truly want to understand marriage properly, this is the right way. She is yourself and you are herself. That's what Quran is talking about. That is why when you go to Quran, again, if a person goes out of this, whereby you don't want to show your wife you are herself, and she doesn't show you you are herself, then Quran refer to it this as something very odd, out of the known way. You go to Quran 4 verse 34. God said, وَاللَّاتِي تَخَافُونَ نُشُوزَهُنْ. Allah is on nushuz. Those that you are scared of their bad behavior. But here, if you look at the word nushuz, shadh, meaning something very odd, something very strange. In other words, when a wife shows a bad akhlaq towards the husband, Allah said, this is out of the way. This is odd. We don't know this because he is yourself, you are herself. The same way, Quran 4, verse 128, in imra'atun khafat min ba'liha nushuza. When a woman, she's scared of this bad behavior of a man. So here Allah is the one also nushuz, meaning odd. So therefore, the first reason, brothers and sisters, is that your wife is yourself and you are herself. Whatever you do towards one another, you are doing it yourself and not to any other person. That is why scholars said man and woman are one single existence. You are not two existence. Another ayah of Quran is Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 187. In a very known verse, Allah said, "Hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul lahunna." You are their garments and they are your garments. What does it mean? Your wife is your garment and you are her garment. It simply means your wife is yourself and you are herself. In other words, your wife is your and you are your wife's manifestation. When I see you, I see your wife. And when I see your wife, I see the husband. That's what Quran is talking about. So when you talk about marriage, it's something very important in the eye of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Islam doesn't take marriage very lightly. It takes marriage very, very seriously. So when you think of having a problem with either your wife or your husband, think that you are dealing with yourself here. You are not dealing with anyone. And the second example, which one great scholar, Hisham al-Hasnawi, he brought in his book, and I was sharing with the brothers, and some told me I should share it tonight also during my discourse. The question is, what attracts man to woman and vice versa? Why do I get married? And why does the woman get married? First, we know the philosophies of marriage. We discussed that the other night. Listen, man by nature, he likes to dominate. That is the nature of man. Man by nature is selfish. So this scholar said woman need to understand that so that she can transform him from being selfish to someone who loves everyone. What does it mean that man by nature is selfish? As I mentioned the other night, man, he wants by the time he come home, the food is ready. By the time he come home, everything is ready. He come and certain things are not ready, he get worked out. So this scholar said, this is the nature of man. And if a woman understands that, she should be able to change that to become something good for both of them. So therefore they said, what attracts man to marriage is that he wants to be served. He wants to be the boss. He wants to feel boss. He wants to feel that I've got the authority. This is the nature of man. All of us sitting here, we are like that. But what attracts woman to marry? Woman, by nature, she's not selfish. She's someone who give. Giving means what? Serving. So they said, man, understand woman by nature, she give. She need only one thing. She need the chest to sleep on. She need that security. If she is guaranteed the security, be rest assured, the house will be a good house. And the second thing with this scholar mentioned, I was telling brothers, is that man, when he's faced with challenges and problems, he wants to be alone. When man has stress, he doesn't want to share with his wife. He will always want to be alone. So women understand that. Sometimes your husband come back home and he wants to be alone. Don't disturb him, John, this, that. Let him be there. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, he will come back. Because this scholar said this is the nature of man. When he has a problem, one scholar was mentioning, you will see him like the TV is on, but he's not watching the TV. He just wants to be alone. He doesn't want to be with you for this time. So they said, a woman, you can change that by giving him that space. And a woman, by nature, when she has a problem, she wants to share. She wants to talk. And what she needs from man, she doesn't expect solution. She just wants you to listen to her. Be giving her the audience is enough for her to be okay. So this is how that scholar described the nature of man and the nature of woman. Now, brothers and sisters, marriage has so many benefits. One of the greatest benefits and the barakah of marriage is to be blessed with children. Tonight we are gathering because of Bibi Khadija. And one thing that we'll celebrate about the life of Khadija is the children she gave us to be our guide and our proofs. So now we need to look at, in these challenging days, how do we upbring our children to ensure that our children toe the line and they follow the school of thought of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam? And what are the challenges of upbringing in this day and age? It's very important. You know, there are so many books written when it comes to upbringing. I found this following point to be appealing and helping. Allah has blessed you with children, husband and wife. It is your duty and responsibilities to ensure that you give the children the best upbringing. Now, the first factor of upbringing is at-tarbiyah qabla tanmiyah. It's upbringing before development. What is upbringing before development? Development means what? I want my son to become a doctor. I want my daughter to become a nurse. I want my son to become an engineer. This is development. You ask every father here, mothers, they all thinking of us saving money to take them to university. It's good. We need that. But we forget the upbringing, tazkiyah, giving them Islamic value. Then later on we put our hands on top of our head, we cry. Before development is crucial. Save the money, take them to university. We need that. But don't forget that the only thing that will complement that development is the akhlaq and behavior we instill in that child. So what is that upbringing? Teaching them the love of Allah, teaching them the love of Ahlul Bayt, teaching them about Quran. Today many parents, they complain, my son doesn't come to the mosque. If you do self-introspection, you realize you are at fault, not the son. Because you only show the child the money, you did not show him Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Some parents, you sit here, you turn around, you don't see your sons and daughters. Your children play music, you can't speak. Upbringing. Upbringing requires time investment. Madrasa 1 day, 2 days is not enough. Don't take your responsibility and throw it on madrasa. Madrasa is there to complement your effort. I've been mentioning this wherever I went. The challenge of today is higher and it's escalating day by day. You go to the mosque, you are in the front line, your child hardly come to the mosque and pray. You recite ziyarah, your son, he hardly comes. Go back and do self-introspection. You realize that you did not give him time in terms of upbringing him. You were only thinking of developing the child. Don't forget, if you die, you will need that child to recite at least one qualified and correct Fatiha for you. The Holy Prophet made it very clear in an ordinary way. إِذَا مَاتَ ابْنُ آدَمْ انْقَطَعَ عَمَلُهُ إِلَّا مِنْ ثَلَاثٍ صدقة جارية أو علم ينتفع به أو ولد صالح يدعو له. When the son of Adam departs from this world, all matters are stopped and shut. Only one of the three will help him. One, sadaqatun jariyah, running sadaqah. You do something for the sake of Allah and people are benefiting, like you give people water, you give people a house, they keep benefiting it after your death, you will get reward in your qabr. Our ilmun yuntafa bi, or knowledge you are blessed with, and you benefited people after your death, they keep benefiting from it. And the third one, waladun salih yad'u lah. You leave behind a pious and a good child who remembers you with dua each and every day in his salat or his salah. So, upbringing before development. It starts, as some scholars said, 50% before birth and 50% after birth. Meaning you as a father, you as a mother, your approach to Allah, your approach to Islam will help in terms of upbringing your children. What's the second line? التربية غير مباشر. Indirect upbringing. Here I want to stop a little bit. We have direct upbringing. We have indirect upbringing. First one, if you want to ayah, Surah Al-Jumu'ah verse 2. يُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمْهُمُ الْكِتَابِ. يُزَكِّيهِمْ in tazkiyah, you give them tarbiyah. Then later, kitab, development. Second one, upbringing in an indirect way. What is upbringing in an indirect way? Direct way of upbringing is what I'm doing now. I'm sitting next to you, I'm talking to you, listen. But upbringing in an indirect way, you don't talk. You do the action, and the child will learn from your action. You don't come to the mosque to pray, and your house is just stone throw, and you expect your child to come, forget. If the child comes, it's a miracle. Indirect upbringing is very effective in today's world. You want your child to recite Quran? Don't worry by saying recite. Let the child see you every day reciting Quran. I promise you, he will begin to recite. You want your child to recite Marsiya or Matam? We complain, children, they run away Matam time. They run away, they go. They ask questions. We don't understand this. Look at the fathers. Do they do that the children are running away? They don't do. Fathers are going. In front of their children in their house, they ask these questions. So the second way of upbringing is what? Indirect. There is music you love so much. But because you don't want your child to get in love with that music, you sacrifice and stop listening to it. You don't want your child to abuse people. Don't abuse his mother in his front. And don't abuse his father in his presence. They learn. Children, they are like computer hard drive. Upbringing in an indirect way. And this even goes to all our leaders also. You want a member of the community to follow suit? Let the guy see you doing it. Automatically, sooner or later, the person will follow. This talking, it has impact, but to certain level. Action speaks louder than words. That's 2. 3. Insijam, as they mentioned, بين الجيل الجديد والجيل القديم. Is to reconcile between the timing of your children and your times. Your children and the youth are of different time. You are of different time. The time you were youth, it wasn't like this. There were no WhatsApp. There was no Instagram. Today they are youth, we have WhatsApp, we have Instagram. Different ball game. So they said, if you want to be successful, you as a farmer, you as a mother, you as teacher, reconcile between the 2 times. How do we reconcile? Before you reconcile, understand the features of these 2 times. The timing of our fathers who are sitting here, and the timing of the Shabab who are here. Your time, my fathers and mothers, they call it Jilu Tawassul. And dear time is Jilu Ettisal. What does it mean? Dear time is a time of telecommunication, technology. Your time, no, you wanted to make a friend, you would meet the person face to face and make that friendship. Today, by one click, a person make 10 friends. It's a different time. That's why you see our fathers, your friends who have gone maybe to UK, to Canada, for 10 years, 20 years, you've not met them. When they happen to visit Mombasa, you see them, it's as if their friendship is just today. But this time, no. You make him friend today, tomorrow the friendship is gone. Make another friendship today, the next day the friendship is gone. Because this is the nature of today's world. And number two nature, today's world is that they have inquisitive mind. They ask everything. For everything, they need answer and philosophy for it. Your time, your father will slap you here, you will give him left to slap. Yes. That's why I believe that time there was a lot of barakah. Today we have challenges. Barakah is less. I'm not encouraging corporal punishment, but I'm talking of the obedience our parents had that time. But we need to understand the future. This time around, your son of 5 years will ask you a lot of questions you can't answer. That time you will not ask. This time they come to the mosque, they said, why do you matam? Give me the philosophy of a matam. That time you wouldn't ask your fathers. So we need to understand and create a balance between these two times, or else finished. Or else we'll not get anywhere. How do we create balance? Look at these four things. Number one, at-tafahum. We need to understand their timing and the need of their timing, so that when we bring them and we address them, we know how to address them. Our first Imam said, don't expect to bring your children the way you were brought up, because they are born different time from your time. If you want to bring your sons and daughters the way you were brought up those years ago, here in Mombasa or in Zanzibar, it will not happen. Because their timing is a different time. So the first thing is to understand their timing and create balance. If they are too much in social media, understand certain things about social media. So when you advise them about social media, you know what you are advising them about. But you don't know anything about it. And then you crush them completely. Oh no, they don't come to the mosque because they've got issues. Don't lambast them and backlash them. No. Find out what are the reasons, what are the issues. Are we meeting their needs? Or are we keeping them in the old fashion? Old fashion? No, we need to create a balance. This is the need of the world, my fathers and mothers. Whether we like it or not, this is the approach of the world. And the world is growing very, very fast. We need to understand their timing. All our leadership, our mukis, everyone, we need to understand the timing, and let's create a balance. Yes, you as a young one, it cannot be your way absolutely. There must be a balance 50-50 for the community to grow the way we want it to grow. So number one, tafahum, understand their timing. Two, hiwar, dialogue with them. Dialogue. Bring them. What's your problem? Why you don't do matter? Why you always on your phone? Share with them. Dialogue. You as a father, you as a mother, this is how you do with your sons and daughters. Dialogue, talk. Today there is no hush like that. 3, sabr. You need patience. It will not happen overnight. They don't come mosque, it will not happen after 1 year. You need patience, you have to be determined. Your son doesn't come, your daughter doesn't wear hijab, don't expect that to happen overnight. You need patience. Hence I said, upbringing requires time investment. Some of us, we hardly sit and talk to our sons and daughters. We don't have time. We're thinking that bringing money is the only way. No, worse. The time you invest talking to them is more cherished and important, and it will drop your love in their heart. So you need patience. They will ask something. Be patient. Have sabr. That is the timing. The world is moving very fast. They have technology. They have gadgets with them. And then the last one, you have to show them hubbul hakiki, true love. Show them love. Beginning from your sons and all these sons and daughters who come to the mosque. And this I found it from the wasiyah of Mawlai Kainat to his beloved son Hasan al-Mushtaq. Said, وَجَدْتُكَ بَعْضِي بَلْ وَجَدْتُكَ كُلِّي كَأَنْ أَصَابَكَ شَيْءٌ أَصَابَنِي. Imam Amir said to Imam Hasan, I found you half of me, but in fact I found you whole of me. If you, Hasan, is affected or afflicted with something, understand, I, Ali, go through that pain more than you, Hasan. It's how we create a balance. And this is our community. But now this tarbiyah has a lot of challenge. One of the challenge of tarbiyah of today is what? Working mother and working father. In those days, only father will go to work, isn't it? But today is gaining momentum, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, your daughter, she's gone to school. She's graduated. You expect her to work, isn't it? So now, there's a lot of challenge. Hence, scholars said there is a choice here. Why today women go to work? Of course, it's not haram in Islam for a woman to go to work. But there are three possible reasons. One reason may be because of economic hardship. Family is in economic hardship, so you need to go to work to get something. Two, no, because you want to fit in the society. Some are working, so why wouldn't I also do? I want to fit. It's not that there's any economic hardship. And three, no, she wants to work because she's got that potential, she has studied, and if you stay without working, it will be like a waste of time. But I say, it's very important to work, but I encourage you, our fathers and mothers, when your daughters go to study, we need doctors, women doctors. We need nurses. We need women gynecologists. We don't have them. When our women go to deliver, they face hardship and difficulties. We need, if you send our daughters to go and do, at least we need them to become doctors, we need them to become nurses, we need them to become psychologists. So that when our women have issues, they go to them, they are able to advise them. Now the challenge is here. When the husband works and the woman works, husband goes out late, early, he comes back late, and woman, they say, you know what happened? Children upbringing gets sacrificed. One scholar analyzed it beautifully. Said when both of them are busy, the children will find friends in internet. This is how they get engrossed. Number two, it will affect the relationship. Because you will not even have time for yourselves. Because both of you are busy working. Number three, there are so many husbands there today, unfortunately. They rely on the work of their women to survive. And some even made it like wajib on a woman to go work and bring money. Now, how do you solve this challenge? A woman herself, she has to decide, or the husband, both of them. Do I really need to go and work for us to survive? Or should I invest my time in upbringing my sons and daughters? What do I do? So Islam said, you sit with your husband and wife and decide on the way forward, because the upbringing of the children is very important. If both of you go, you don't sit down, you don't decide what time you go, what time you come, what happened, in between the children suffer a lot. And number two, scholars suggested that you find certain work which make it very, very flexible for you. You want to go out, you want to come in, like self-employed kind of thing, whereby it's easy, you can go and you come back, so that children don't suffer in between, because children are the future. Now, the last part of this examination is the youth. Now, if father and mother bring their children properly, they reach that age of being youth. As you know, Islam made it very clear. They become your advisors if you look after them properly. And I want to advise the youth here. You know who is a youth? There are two definitions, and I want the youth to take these definitions out and think about them. We have a biological definition and psychological definition. Biologically, they say youth is the one from 13 years to 35 to 40, and there are differences of opinion when it comes to those ages. I found psychological definition of a youth fascinating. They said it's someone who has a qudra al-intaj wal-ibda'. He's someone who's got the power to be creative and to be productive. Youth. A youth is someone who's got the power to be creative and to be productive. Hence, these are the features of a youth. And these are the youth we want to see in our communities. Number one, you are always creative and you are always productive. Not very weak. You only complain. Complain. You are asked, suggest, you can't suggest. You are asked, bring something on board, you can't bring. You only complain and talk. Then you are not making good use of that stage of being a youth. A youth is someone you see is not going well. You approach those who are in charge. You create something. You become creative. You suggest to them. Second feature of a youth. قابل للتغيير. A youth is easy to change. Hence, I've been mentioning every night, change for good. Become God-fearing. Love Allah subhanahu. You can do it now. You miss it now, you cannot bring it back. That's youth. Hence, we are told in Islam, what should be the relationship between the young and the old? Meaning the younger generation and the older generation. Said the older generation should offer advice and the youth should be on the ground to implement. Hence, Amir al-Mu'minin very clear. رَأْيُ الشَّبَابِ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِنْ جِلْدِ الْفَطَاةِ. One said, مِنْ جِلْدِ الْغُلَامِ. Imam Ali. He said, the opinion of an elderly person is so dear to me than the skin of a young boy. Is this a metaphor? So the relationship between you and the old wazis is what? Let them advise you. You go there and implement on the ground. That is why Rasulullah said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَعَثَنِي بِالْحَقِّ بَشِيرًا وَنَذِيرًا فَحَالَفَنِي الشَّبَابُ وَخَالَفَنِي الشُّيُوخُ. Allah sent me to warn and guide. Then the youth accepted me and the elders rejected me. All of you here, you were youth at one stage and you were boiling at that time. So youth, I'm telling you, don't waste your time. You have the energy. You can put it to the benefit of the community. Instead of going around talking, no benefit, come forward. Bring something on board. Join Ghusl Kafan. Join Madrasa. Join school. Do something. You look at the people of Nuh alayhi salam. When the enemies of Noah began to tease Noah and mock at Noah, what did they say? وَمَا نَرَاكَ اتَّبَعَكَ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ أَرَاذِلُنَا بَادِيَ الرَّأْيِ. No, we've seen nothing. Those who are following you are those who have not strong intellectual maturity. أَرَاذِلُنَا بَادِيَ الرَّأْيِ. Meaning when it comes to opinion, we are higher than the meaning. Young ones follow you, Nuh alayhi salam. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he supported Rasulullah when he was young, youth. Imam al-Hussein and Hassan, Sayyidai Shabab Ahlil Karbala, Shabun Qutila Abuhu fil Ma'araka. He came out, Amiri Hussein wa ni'mal Amir, Sururun Fuadun Bashirun Nadir, Aliyun wa Fatima Walida, Al Ta'lamu lahu min Nadir. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. We are told on the 10th day of Muharram, a youth who just lost his father, he came to Abu Abdullah, said, grant me the permission, I want to go. Abu Abdullah said, I've not even finished sorting out the body of your father. He said, no, my mother said I should come. Shabun qutila abuhu fil ma'araka. Some scholars said his name is not known in the history. But what is important is when this boy came out, we are told even the cloth was too big for him, the amarada. What was he saying? He said, Amiri Hussein wa ni'mal Amir. My leader is Hussein, and what a blessed leader. He said, Ali and Fatima are his parent, and Hussein is the comfort of my heart. Youth. This religion grew up because of the energy of youth. So therefore, youth, Allah has given you the energy. Use that energy properly for the benefit of yourself and for the benefit of Ummah. Time is moving very, very fast. And in conclusion, when we examine the life of Bibi Khadija alayha salam, we will realize that she was a good wife, God-fearing wife, and she was a good mother. Hence today, all of us are sitting here because of the barakah of that mother, Khadijatul Kubra alayha salam. She established the foundation of Islam. Rasulullah, when he came, his support was Khadijatul Kubra and Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And no doubt Amir came from Abu Talib alayhi salam. Now a few lines about this lady. Rasulullah himself said, Ruziktu hubbaha. I'm blessed with the love of a Khadija. I mean, Rasulullah and Khadija should serve as role model for us. When it comes to our homes, our marriages, he said, Ruziktu hubbaha. The only Prophet would be that busy, but he would have time for Khadija al-Kubra. One moment, Jibreel came to Rasulullah. When he finished his mission, he said to Rasulullah, where is Khadija? He said, Khadija is not around. He said, tell Khadija, inna rabbaha yukri'uha salam. Tell Khadija, her Lord is passing salam unto her. This maqam, Ali jiddan. Isn't it the riwayah said Rasulullah one moment sat with his beloved daughter Fatima. And he said to Fatima, if you want to see the house of the people of Jannah, I will tell you there are 3 women, including yourself, Fatima. The house of Asiya, the wife of Fir'aun, is the house of Jannah because of the presence of Asiya. And the house of Maryam alayha salam. And the house of your mother Khadija. And he said, indeed, Khadija was a woman of Jannah. profound estate of Khadija al-Kubra. Rasulullah will look at the companions in this mosque, Madinatul Munawwara, and we said to the companions, "Oh, my companion, do you want me to introduce you to the best sons and the best grandfather and best grandmom?" He said, "Yes, Bala ya Rasulullah." He said, "The best sons are Hassan and Hussein, and the best grandfather and mom are Rasulullah and Khadija al-Kubra." Abu Abdullah himself, we all know about this in Karbala. Abu Abdullah would introduce people to himself by saying that, "I am the son of Khadija al-Kubra." Look at to what extent even Rasulullah respected Khadija. After she left this world, her friends would come home. Ruwaya said one day, Khadija's friend came home in the house of Aisha, and Rasulullah stood up respecting the lady. So Aisha asked Rasulullah, "Who is this?" He said, "This is the friend of Khadija." Why Khadija got to this level? When in ziyarah we said, "Assalamu alayka yabna Khadija al-Kubra." Ziyaratul waritha. Assalamu alayka Abu Abdullah yabna Khadija al-Kubra. Why? Number one, because Khadija had foresightedness. She was visionary. When we say a person has got foresight, what does it mean? He's able to calculate and see what is going on, and he planned accordingly. Khadija was able to identify there is no better husband than the Rasulullah. And she proposed the Rasulullah. Number two, why all this maqam of Khadija? This is simply because Khadija al-Kubra spent every single thing that she had for the sake of this religion. Hence he said, if not because of the wealth of Khadija and the sword of Ali ibn Abi Talib, we have not been received anything of this Islam. But look at the life of Khadija, how it ended. She reached this maqam because she gave us 12 imams. Because Allah blessed Rasulullah with Fatima. Fatima is the daughter of Khadija. She's a good mother. And from Fatima we have our Hassan and Hussein, isn't it? Imams are from Khadija, not any other wife of the Holy Prophet of Islam. Look at this musibah. She spent everything she had for Islam. Everything. To the point they had nothing to buy food. She sacrificed everything, Khadija. And in that process, Quraysh sanctioned Rasulullah and Abu Talib. What happened? Rasulullah, now they had to stay at the valley of Abu Talib, isn't it? For 3 good years. Khadija would eat grass for Rasulullah to survive. Hence he said, she respected me when I was disrespected. She gave me her wealth when no one else wanted to give me his wealth. In a final moment, Khadija was examined with severe fever. And Khadija would cry. She would cry uncontrollably. Khadija was asked, "Why are you crying like that, Ya Khadija?" Then Khadija began to advise on her will. Said, "Rasulullah, after me, look after Fatima al-Zahra." When Khadija said, Ayman asked Khadija, "Why can't you stop crying?" Huh? Khadija called Ayman. He said, Ayman, I am crying because of 2 things. Number one, every mother would wish to witness the marriage of her daughter. But he said, not just witnessing the marriage of her daughter, every mother would wish to present something to her daughter on that marriage. Ayman, I have nothing to give Fatima to Zahra. I said, Khadija, I wish you were there when the door was pushed on Fatima. I said, Khadija, as if you knew her when the rib of Fatima was broken. Khadija had money. She invested a lot. And the Holy Prophet used to work for Khadija. But the Khadija had no money for her kafan. She spent everything she had for Islam. As narration says, when the Holy Prophet now came to prepare Khadija for burial, he covered her with a piece of cloth. But the cloth could not cover the body of Khadija. Rasulullah made dua, Ya Allah, I am your prophet, rahmatan lil alameen. And Khadija is my wife, I'm burying her, and there is no kafan for Khadija. We are told 5 kafans was brought to Rasulullah. The Rasulullah, these kafans are for who? Said the first kafan, use it to bury Khadija. The second kafan is for you, Rasulullah. The third kafan is for Fatima al-Zahra. And the fourth kafan is for you, Amir al-Mu'mineen. Said the fifth kafan is for Hassan al-Mujtaba. The Rasulullah asked, where is the kafan for Hussein? Yuzbahu zabah ash-shat. Simply because Hussein will be slaughtered like an animal. Imam al-Rida alayhi salatu wasalam is reported to have said, they did not kill Hussein, they slaughtered Hussein. He said, because when you are to kill a person, you will know when he's going to die. But when you slaughter a person, he doesn't know when he or she is going to die. But let me leave you with this line. I've taken much of your time tonight. After they have slaughtered Hussein on the 10th day of Muharram, narration says, Umar ibn Sa'd looked at his companions. And he said, my companion, now our next deal is to go and trample on the bodies. And you realize that some of the companions of Abu Abdullah had their family members in the camp of Umar ibn Sa'd. They would mention this name and they said, no, we killed him, we will not trample because it's our family member. Until they reached the last one, then Umar ibn Sa'd asked them, who among them does not have a family? So the only one who does not have a family is Hussein. Narration said they began to trample on the body of Abu Abdullah. Some scholars said they broke each and every bone in the body of Hussein. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. We ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant us His maghfirah. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to continue to instill the love of Ahl al-Bayt in our hearts. Allah, where we make mistakes, we ask you to amend those mistakes on our behalf. The marhum who is going to be buried, they are in the process now. We ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant him maghfirah and Jannat al-Firdaus. Ma'atam al-Husayn, Ya Husayn.